Welcome back to Cord Cutting Today, where we break down some of the biggest stories happening in the world of cord cutting, including today, CNN is making some big changes to its lineup as it struggles to find a way to get people to watch. Fubo is raising its price. It's now going to cost you over $100 for the cheapest plan if you want your RSN, those regional sports networks like FanDuel Sports. And Comcast fees, now pushing up the price of the service over $250. We took a look at those fees. What are they? Why are you paying all these? These stories, though, and a whole lot more coming up in a quick second. First, though, if you're new here, please check out the show notes and in the first pinned comment. I'll put a link to each story there so you can read them for yourself and come up with your own opinions. I'd love to hear from you. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. Let YouTube know you enjoy what we do here so YouTube recommends our videos, I should say, to more people. With that said, let's dive into it. CNN is overhauling its TV schedule. Now, New York Post first broke this news with Wolf Blitzer moving to the morning. CNN kind of didn't comment, was less than upfront about it. Now it's become a reality as they try to find a way to get people to watch the shows. They're overhauling their schedule. I think the biggest one here is Wolf Blitzer is moving to 10 a.m. with Pamela Brown for a co-anchored slot. Jake Tapper's getting a 2-hour show from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So definitely leaning into some of its big name ones to try to compete with some of the other maybe weaker shows on its competitors' lineups. Solomon now has a new 5 a.m. show called The 5 Things and a whole bunch of other breakdowns of new shows. If you want to see all of them, I'll pull link to it in the show notes. So what's happening here? I get a lot of questions. CNN is moving into digital. Does that mean they're becoming more cord cutting friendly? No. What's really happening is they're just paywalling a lot of content they already have. According to reports, they intend to put some of their content that's currently free online behind a paywall on a paid service. They're not the only ones doing this. Fox News puts some of their content behind a paywall unless you subscribe to one of their services. Other companies do it all the time too. So increasingly we're seeing that become more and more popular. Though they have hinted creating more video content. We'll see how it plays out. We already see CNN Max, for example, is a unique feed, different than the cable one, of shows from CNN for Max subscribers. So we can see them leaning into that more and different things. Don't necessarily think that they're going to create an a la carte CNN version where you can just pay maybe $5 and get CNN a month. But they do seem to be trying to get people to pay more. This seems to be targeting the hardcore fans of CNN, the fans that watch it all the time. How do we get those people who are very dedicated to us to pay more money versus to how do we attract people who are not necessarily watching us to get them to subscribe to it? So just keep that in mind. It's a very different strategy there than I think a lot of us would prefer they do. All right, next up, Fubo is raising the price of its service. Its English language TV packages are going up about $5 a month. The cost of RSNs are also going up to $15.99, so basically $16 a month. And with that, you could be paying over $101 a month for their cheapest English package with your local regional sports networks, those RSNs like FanDuel Sports, NBC Sports, I should say, and others. Cost of content's going up. Fubo, this is their second big price hike in not that long of memory. They still don't have the Warner Brothers Discovery channels back. Hopefully they'll strike a deal to get those back and maybe even add TNT and TBS and True TV. They haven't had those in quite some time, to be honest with you. We'll see what happens. But the lawsuit may be over against those companies, but the price hike for Fubo went up. I know some people are asking me, will the lawsuit ending result in a price drop? No. I don't think we're going to see pricing going backwards. As what I think is happening here is these networks are demanding more money from places like Fubo. Instead of just accepting the fact that fewer people are watching, they're getting less money. They say, hey, fewer people are watching, let's charge them more so we can still get the same amount of money that we got before. I think that's a mistake on the cable networks because it's just going to speed up the demise of these streaming services and cable TV networks. Increasingly, the vast majority of cord cutters are not subscribing to live TV services like Fubo, Hulu, YouTube TV. The vast majority of new cord cutters are going directly to on-demand only services or free services like Pluto TV, antennas, and the like, instead of doing it through a subscription service like Fubo, Hulu, plus Live TV, and the others. All right, let's keep moving along. Comcast, in our next story up, is fees. Now, we talked about this last week, that the average cost of Comcast cable bills are increasingly going over $250 a month just for TV and internet. For all those people saying, I'll just go back to cable because I'll save money, not only are you not going to get all the content, it's still going to cost you a lot. And with this though, but why? What's driving this up? And increasingly, it's all the fees. So we took a look at some of these fees. There's 10 big ones basically and a ton of small taxes and the like. But here's a quick list of them. I broke them all down, gave you more details. But broadcast TV fee. This is a fee for all the ABC, NBC, Fox, your local television stations. California Public Purpose Fund if you live in California. Federal communications fee. There's a fee the FCC charges cable companies for every customer they have. Of course, that gets passed right along to you, the end consumer. Federal Universal Service Fund. Franchise fee, late fee, regional sports network fee, recovery cost fee, rental fee for all the devices, modems, cable boxes, and the like. State universal service funds, and a bunch of taxes and government fees like 911 fee, 988 fee, athletic fee, federal excise tax, local utility user tax, public education and government fee, state and local communication service fee, gross receipts tax, state and local sales tax, state excise tax. Again, varies where you live depending on those fees. There's also other ones, including some very specific ones for local cities and local states. And some of them, like Virginia, has a right of way use fee. And that's a fee that they charge Comcast and others to put lines across telephone poles and public easements. And that gets passed right on to you. I always say this, corporations never pay these kind of fees. They just tack it onto the bill for you. But it adds up pretty quick. Check it out. Link in the show notes if you want to find out more about that down there. All right. Last week we reported the news, I should say, that NBC News was about to cut staff. Now it's become official. 40 staff members, or over 40, have been cut from NBC News, mostly from its behind the scenes, people in the booths and camera crews and all this, as they shift focus over to digital, much like CNN is doing, and creating more digital content to try to supplement the falling viewership on its traditional broadcast TV news for NBC News. Be interesting how much crossover there was with MSNBC News. Full list wasn't announced of who was laid off, and there's a lot of back and forth between those two departments. All right, speaking of layoffs that impact the news, these ones are not happening. So about a week ago now, Allen Media Group announced it was going to let go all of its meteorologists and replace them with a national feed from the Weather Channel. So for their 20-some ABC, NBC, Fox, and CBS stations, you would find a national feed of local weather from the Weather Channel, much like you hear on things like local radio. You get this little pre-recorded blurb from a national weather that gets played repeatedly throughout the broadcast. Well, Allen Media Group has backed off and retained some local meteorologists. Exact numbers and which stations keep what and all that's unknown. And with that, though, they are going to still have a partnership. WAAY, general manager, one of the TV stations owned there, says that they've struck a deal to keep their local meteorologists, though at times like during vacations or weekends when there's no major weather happening, you may still see a national feed, but they'll still have local meteorologists in the stations. So great news there. People pushed back and they decided to keep local weather because local weather, honestly, is local. And if you don't know the area, you may not fully understand the topography and how it impacts local weather, especially in times of emergency tornadoes and other storms. Now, with this all, I don't think this trend is done. I think we're going to continue to see them push to cut back on that to focus more on national. But it's interesting to see they got pushed back on it and decided to abandon the plan, or at least alter the plan. All right, last story up of the day. And this one, I have to apologize because I don't think I did a very good job explaining it when I wrote it. Sony is going to stop producing Blu-ray media discs. Now, I put that in the story, but I didn't really explain very well what Blu-ray media discs are. They're the recordable, rewritable discs you can buy to burn a Blu-ray and store massive amount of data. Much like burning a CD or burning a DVD, very popular, and thought it would be the next big thing, and people would be able to store way more data than a CD and a DVD and a Blu-ray. But now with the growth of cloud storage, redundant cloud storaging, companies and people have stopped recording media. Now Blu-rays are not going away, though. Increasingly, the sales have dropped to the point where many stores are cutting back on Blu-ray stock, and availability of some content on Blu-ray and DVD has dramatically fallen. Walmart still has a pretty good selection, but Target now is seasonal on that. Best Buy's gotten out of Blu-rays and DVDs for the most part. Other stores have followed suit, putting most of these online, making Amazon and Walmart one of the biggest sellers of Blu-rays and DVDs. So they're not going away. I apologize. I wasn't clear on that. I did update the story to make it a little bit more clear. Blu-ray media discs, when I hear that, I've been doing this for over 10 years, I know exactly what that is, and sometimes you make those mistakes when you write stories. I apologize. Blu-ray media discs are re-recordable ones you can buy. Now, that doesn't mean that Blu-rays aren't being cut back. We're definitely seeing a huge reduction in the sales of Blu-rays over the last 10 years and DVDs, and that's something that I think will continue. As increasingly, most people are happy to stream it. For all the downsides of streaming, let's be honest, most movies, most television shows you watch once, and then you don't want to rewatch it. Unless it's one of those few that you watch over and over. For us, King of the Hill, we do that all the time in our neighborhood. Or our house, I should say. So that's it for today. I apologize. You know, sometimes you write stories and you don't fully explain it the way you should. Alright, so that's it for today. Don't forget to check out all the stories in the show notes and in the first pinned comment. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. Doing one or both really does help us, because it lets YouTube know you enjoy what we do here. Hopefully we'll help you break free from the high cost of TV and still watch the shows you enjoy. Until next time, take care, be safe. I'll be back again real soon.